working on an image of bottles today. Bottles are great fun to draw. We do them every year. I pick a different set of bottles. I especially like old bottles because they're hand blown and they have slight irregularities in their edges, and that the hand drawn method is nicely compatible with that. I'm going to work just on the green bottle here and show two different ways to start this drawing. One would be to continue with what we looked at last week with the art stick, A-R-T-S-T-I-X. The material of the art stick is the same as what is in the art pencil, or the colored pencil. These are made by Prismacolor. And so if I were going to use this, I would just start with getting the strong horizontal shape here of the bottle and just make a shape like that. I think I'd come down a little bit more. And it doesn't matter that these aren't exactly equal at this point, because I'm going to go in later with the regular pencil, colored pencil, and work on it. And I'm not going to do any more than that. That's just enough to get my to begin to get the shape down. Then I have the neck and the top here. So the neck is a little bit of a jutting up thing like that. So that's the neck. And these, I'm using this just as a guide. And then there's the top, which I'm just going to use the smaller side of the art stick here. And this gets toned down for this bottle quickly and makes some nice markings. Be interesting once I continue with it. Now, if I were going to start with the pencil, colored pencil, I would strongly suggest, and this would work even with the art sticks as well, turning this upside down, because matching these mirror sides can be very tricky. And if I were to try to just go down along the side of the bottle like this, and then try to match that over here, it would be very difficult for my eye to match those two shapes. So what I'm going to do is turn it upside down, and then I'm going to just draw two parallel lines about the width that I want the bottle to be. And if they're not quite straight, that's okay. They can be altered later. And then I'm going to take a graphite pencil because I want to erase this later. I just want to use this as a guide. I'm going to eyeball, that means guess, the middle between these two parallel lines and use that as a visual guide. And when I'm done, I'm going to erase it. So now I need to put in the two sides of the neck and the two sides of the top. So using this as a median guide, I'm going to leave a little bit of room for those ovals there. So I'm going to put the neck, indicate the neck like this. And then the top is a little bit wider, so I'm going to indicate, and it's actually slanting in just a little bit, so I'm going to honor that shape. And then I'm just going to take that graphite guideline out. I use the graphite because colored pencil is sometimes difficult to erase, and I really don't want that line in there. So now I'm going to connect the base of the bottle to the neck to the top, and I'll start from the top. First of all, there's ever so slightly an ellipse there, the opening of the bottle, which of course looking straight down would be a circle, but when you turn a circle on the side, it looks like an ellipse. It's a fancy name for an oval. And the height of the ellipse depends upon how tipped the object is. So that's indicating the top. Then these sides are ever so slightly beveled, so I'm going to honor that. And then I'm going to just put in the curve that connects the neck to the side of the bottle. I'm going fairly lightly in case I want to erase later on. But going upside down sometimes makes it easier to see shape as pure shape. And then the bottom is another ellipse. It's actually, you see more of this ellipse. But when this is shaded in, you see how sharp the bottom edge is, and the edge that you're seeing through the glass is very soft. So I want to be careful to not make both edges very, very distinct. I want to keep this edge. Now we can turn it upside down. You can see why I would want to keep this front edge. What is closest to us is darker and more distinct, and that will make that far edge look like it's going off in the distance. Now I'm going to take a look at my edges here, and I'm going to correct this one a little bit, and when I start shading in, putting those shades color, deeper tone in, that line won't matter at all. And that's close enough. It's a little off. It's done by hand, so it doesn't need to be mechanically perfect. And I would do the same thing here. I would begin to connect and put in these edges, and then come around and give this its curved edge. And then begin to put the tone in. This is one I started on earlier. I started with the green tone. Now I have a grass green here. This is more of an olive green, and I don't have that color, but that's okay. Olive green is made up of a little bit of yellow, so I was putting in a little bit of yellow. I have a nice yellow green here, which most people have in their collection. So that was working. I'm going to protect this side. I'm not going to put an edge here, because if you see on the image, and this makes it look like a rounded glass bottle, you see an edge on this side, but not in here. So I'm going to keep that light. And also there's a highlight right here. And so I'm going to keep that there. I'm going to keep the white of the paper, because that's what will make it look transparent and luminous. I went in with a little bit of magenta at first, a pinkish. It was a little bit too bright for me, so I decided a red, a darkish red, mixed better with the with that green. And as I said, when I get down to the bottom here, I want that edge to be very sharp in the front, very non-distinct at the back of that ellipse. So I would just continue around, and actually not much more. I don't think I would do much more with this, because with glass, definitely, less is more. And so that might be all that I would do. I would go on and do another bottle.